Hello and welcome back. I know it's been a minute, but we have a game to recap. It doesn't matter what time in the morning it is. We got stuff to talk about. Alright? Yep. Let me just hold on. Here we are. So I didn't film a prediction for this because I felt it was fairly obvious who was going to win, and I felt right. This game was pretty boring in most ways because, well, it was a good team playing a bad team, the Jets playing the Patriots. I can see how that wouldn't be entertaining to watch. So, so I am filming a recap. Sorry, I fell asleep for a second there. Um, this game started. The Jets had the football, and they did not do anything. And it was kind of just like a punt off for the first quarter until Alan Lazard found his way to get open, which was strange because, Aaron Rodgers seemed like he didn't want to throw to Garrett Wilson in the early stages of this game. He was almost like avoiding Garrett Wilson where he was throwing some of these balls. That was pretty interesting um, because, he's obviously their best wide receiver. So I was kind of shocked by that he was kind of not throwing it to him. And then they got the ball back, and Brees Hall ran it in inside the 10-yard line. This was actually initially ruled not a touchdown and called a touchdown by the refs. It was pretty obviously a touchdown. There was no doubt about it. And the Jets went up 14, and with 8 minutes left in the first half, they were just plummeting them at this point, and it was like slowly starting to look like the Patriots had zero chance, even though they were the team who beat the Bengals. So, that was not a good start for them, but they did get a field goal with 4 minutes left in the half to make it 14-3, and an 11-point lead. That's when the Jets were starting to make a big drive. They were going down the field quickly, effectively. Nothing was stopping them, not a single thing. But then the Patriots strung together a few stops, so they sent out Rex Erline to give them a 14-point lead again. Except he missed. He shanked it. It was a very bad kick. And I don't hate kickers, but that was a very bad kick. He kicked it almost sideways and missed that field goal 45 yards out. But then they got the ball back. They were driving on the field, and from 2 yards out, Aaron Rodgers actually threw the ball to Garrett Wilson for a 2-yard touchdown, and the extra point was good. So it was quickly 21-3, and the Patriots were starting to look cooked. Now, if they score another touchdown, maybe they could have came back because of the 28-3 curse, but they didn't, and they actually just kicked another field goal to end the game. 24-3 was the final score. Now, here's the thing about this game. Like, it was a surprising performance from Aaron Rodgers. He had 281 yards, with an an average of 8 yards per pass, which is pretty crazy. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he had 18 rushing yards, which that is insane because the line for that is 1.5 for Aaron Rodgers rushing yards. So it's not really something he does a lot. So the fact that you look at it and he had 18 with everything else, he had 120 QBR, which is very, very high. Now, if you look at Garrett Wilson, he only had 33 yards with 5 receptions. He did not get the ball a lot, only 5 times, and when he did, he had 33 yards. So he wasn't really doing much. He did score a touchdown. And here's where we get interesting. The rookie running back Braylon Allen had 68 yards on 11 carries with 55 rushing yards and 13 reception yards, no touchdowns. Brees Hall had 16 carries with 83 yards, 1 touchdown, and 54 rushing yards. But this is interesting, obviously, because it's not necessarily close, but it isn't a far gap between the two. And I mean, it makes to see that Brees Hall at one point he did have as many carries as Braylon Allen. So I wonder why they were relying more on the rookie to make plays in some moments. But Brees Hall still ended up with more yards, still more carries, which is expected, very well expected. It was just surprising to see at the beginning half of the game him not being utilized as much, and in the later stages where they started to need him, he was definitely came through. Mike Williams played a lot more snaps. He had 34 yards. We all know about the ACL injury last year. Had him out for the whole year. Mike Williams had 34 yards, 0 touchdowns. 11.3 reception average. He only caught the ball 3 times, but when he did, he was deep. And so he had a good game. And now on the Patriots side of things, Jacoby Brissett looked terrible today. Actually, he looked so terrible that Drake May threw a few passes when they were losing. Drake May did not get a touchdown. He didn't have his first yet. He was 4 for 8, 50%. He had 22 passing yards. So he only threw 8 passes, only 4 of them were caught. Jacoby Brissett threw 18 passes, 12 of them were caught, 98 passing yards and an 80 QBR. If you take a step back and look at those stats, it's terrible. Obviously, they did not score a touchdown all night. So no one on this side scored touchdowns. Tomorrow, Douglas did defense, 7 receptions, 78 yards. He was the main leader of this offense, this touchdownless offense, may I add you. So good for him. But this was just a terrible game from the Patriots and the Jets. And the next game is Sunday. Yay! And is there a no? No, there's not. Okay, when's the first one of the? I think it's 3 Sundays then. And my Eagles play the Saints, so go Eagles. Go Eagles. Fly Eagles, fly, baby. I know we lost. I didn't recap it. I couldn't do that. Saquon dropped that ball, and then they scored, and then Hurts threw the pick. That's basically how the game went. But go Birds. Fly Eagles, fly. See you Sunday.